Welcome to my channel, and if you are new, then hello, welcome. So today I will be giving you a tour of my garden for the year 2026. So this is only my second year into gardening, and this year my husband also updated my garden beds to be higher than what I had last year and bigger. So if you just want to check out what I had last year, I do have a few older videos, so you can go ahead and see if you're interested. But this is my new garden. Obviously I am outside, and you will hear a lot of other different noises, and we also constantly have airplanes flying overhead, so you will also hear that probably here and there. But I will try to make videos in between those aeroplanes. So the garden beds are here on the gravel. I will have different pots with plants also planted on the side. I do have a few that are already filled with different herbs, but let's just begin with our first garden bed. So on each garden bed I have marigolds planted and a few alyssums. This bed I have the kids' strawberries planted on the side, and then recently I replanted radishes here. The first half of this garden bed I planted four different kind of lettuces. I just planted them not too long ago, so they still haven't germinated. And alongside this edge I have planted onions. Yesterday I planted garlic here because I had some garlic that was in the fridge for quite a few months and it sprouted. So I figured I'll plant it right now, even though it's probably very late to do that, but I guess we'll just see what will happen. Here I have another marigold right here. Let's move on to my second garden bed, and this garden bed is just looking amazing and so full, and I am so excited about it. So in this first row we have radishes planted right here, and this is my second time planting them. We already had our first harvest, so good. And here we have our two rows of carrots. Then I have two rows of beets. And so this bed, the reason it is so full because I planted it in the month of April 9. So it's almost 2 months since I have planted all of this. Here I have two rows of dill as well. And I think I might be cutting this soon before it goes into seed. Here I have onion, and I have already thinned this because I planted onion like every 1 inch, and then once the green part grew I thinned it out. This is my first year that I want to grow onion, so I'm not exactly sure what do I do. I've heard that you have to bend this green part for the bulb itself to grow. So if you have any details on that, please let me know in the comments. So here we have just lettuce as well. So in this row we have kale, and it is so good. My husband loves the kale. And then I have a row of spinach, and obviously I probably planted the rows too close to one another because the kale is going over the spinach, and I did make a short where I said the hail destroyed some of the leaves, but it is doing so well. I think I probably overreacted, but hey guys, it is only my second year into gardening. So I have another row of dill. I believe this is parsley right here. I just don't remember what I planted, but I think it is parsley. I mean, no, not parsley, cilantro. And then the last row I have, these are snap peas, and I still haven't added a trellis. I know I probably should have done it by now because they are getting so long. So this is something that I will be fixing today and adding that so that we can attach a string and have it climb up on the string. So yes, this is my second garden bed, and so let's move on to the third garden bed. Over here on the side, I actually have planted marigold. So the ones that I already have in the garden beds, I just bought that from the nursery, and these ones I started from seed. That's why they're still so small. This is sorrel. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The sun came out, so the quality might be a bit different than before, but here I have a row of beets as well that I still need to thin out because I planted the seeds quite recently. So this garden bed, I will have tomatoes. We actually have two garden beds that are basically all tomato plants. Here is our last garden bed, also all tomato plants. So in between these tomato plants, I have planted basil, I have planted parsley, and some flowers, and those I have planted from seeds, so they're all in between. So I am kind of excited when the seeds germinate and they will sprout, and we will finally see what will come out like in between all these tomato plants. So most of the tomato plants that I have, I bought determinate, which I did not realize. Only a few are indeterminate, which this one is, and this one is the champion one. So I will have to put a stake for the potato plant, for the tomato plant to grow. Here I have a few Roma tomato plants. So these are determinate. Here is Oregon Spring. This one is also determinate. Then we have some tidy treats back there. Anyway, so let's move on to the last garden bed, also full of tomato plants. We have some Sweet 100, and this is indeterminate, so this one will need a higher trellis or whatever we figure out. Then I have a Sun Gold here. Between the third and fourth garden bed, I have planted here some herbs. We have rosemary, thyme, and oregano in this little planter. These I actually got from Dollar Tree for only $5, and I think this is quite a steal because for the most part, like, these big planters are at least $10, if not more. It's plastic, yes, so it's cheap, but because there's so much dirt in it, it is absolutely fine. And here I have a few more pots. So apparently you cannot have basil in full sun. This is why this is dying, which is why I planted basil in between my tomato plants. And here I got some mint growing in this pot, and these are some empty pots. So the sun has decided to finally come out. It was pretty cloudy this morning, so the quality might be a bit different, and we'll see some shadows here and there. So sorry about that, but let's just continue on. So in this garden bed, I also have all tomato plants. Those two are indeterminate tomatoes, and the rest I believe are determinate. So determinate are the ones that are going to be shorter and bush out, like they're going to be pretty full, and the indeterminate, those will grow taller, so they will need some support. These small ones I am not sure because my mom gave those to me. Let's see, this is Big Beef. I believe these two are Roma tomatoes. Then this one is also Roma. Then this one is Sweet 100, so this one will grow tall. And that one is Sun Gold. Yes, so in between these tomato plants, I also have planted some basil, parsley, and at the edge of this bed, I have planted carrots here, but for some reason, I am not seeing anything, so there might not be any carrots. And yesterday, I also replanted carrots on this side because I didn't notice any growth. So I'm not sure if the seeds were too old, the ones that I was using it, that they did not germinate. And in between, I planted some beets as well. And I read that this might not be the best to mix beets with tomatoes. So I guess we'll have to see. It either could be a win or a lose at this point. So I will update you on that. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that I did plant some bush beans in between the tomato plants. So I have one here between these two. I have a second one here between these two. And then I have one there and one there. So 4 plants total of bush beans. So coming along here on the edge, I have planted watermelons. So this is Crimson Sweet. So I have 2 on each mound, and the plan is, it might be a bit close, but the plan is for them to just grow and go off to the grass. Hello. Okay, here I have planted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have planted 7 zucchinis. Last year I had 9, and that was pretty cool. And then in this corner I have planted 4 rows of corn. I heard that it's best to plant corn in multiple rows versus just one long one. Moving off to the side, I have some strawberry plants right here, which now I'm thinking about it, I probably should have planted strawberries all in one area. And this is another one of those things that I did not expect to go so well. So these are potato plants. I planted regular store-bought potatoes that just sprouted. They were somewhere behind in my pantry. They sprouted. I think they were maybe by onions. Onions do help with sprouting. And so I figured that I might just have to plant them. And I am so excited about having potatoes. So it's been close to a month and a half that I have these already planted. So hopefully maybe in another couple months, end of July, maybe beginning of August, we'll have some potatoes from our garden. And so here we have these 3 garden beds, and these 3 garden beds were actually our kids' garden beds from last year. We have no more space to plant cucumbers, so these 3 garden beds we kind of combined into one, and we will have cucumbers here. So my husband still has to build a trellis or something for the cucumbers, and I actually have to get them in the ground today or at the least tomorrow. So yes, this is my garden for the year of 2026. My garden like tripled or quadrupled in size, because my garden last year I had some in-ground space over here. I had corn in the back, I had zucchini here, then I had radishes, I had beets that just didn't do well at all. So this was the in-ground space last year. My garden this year, it is such a big difference, and honestly it's a big thank you to my husband who built all these garden beds. It just looks amazing. He put so much work into building these garden beds and just building this space for me, and I am so grateful. And honestly, this is just for our family to be able to have something that we can grow for ourselves, and so much better than going to the store. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys have any tips for me, you can always leave them down in the comments. If this is something that you want to follow along with me, then go ahead, subscribe to this channel, give this video a like if you enjoyed watching my little garden tour, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.